citizens empowering compassionate communities across America by July 4th, 2026. So that means that the national impact of this is something that the Compassionate Citizens Project is looking for here at the US. So here at the Compassionate Citizens Podcast, we're on the world stage with social media, reaching people from all over the world. So we're bridging above and beyond the Compassionate Citizens Project to take a look at what we can garner from all nations around the world. So the vision is a compassionate, inclusive world that works for all, co-created by compassionate citizens. So that's where here at the podcast, we like to reference and acknowledge and recognize our compassionate citizens, most all of which we meet through the Happy Neighborhood Project. So we will get into that after we finish looking at the Compassionate Citizens Project. So we got projects galore here. This is project management at its finest. And this is all meant to be something for you to consider to be a part of, including this podcast. So we'll get into, if you like this conversation and you want to join Emily and I, or join Emily and me, I guess English would prescribe. So come join us and, give us your thoughts. This is a collaboration. This is on social media and live streamed and everything we're doing here to reach the masses, which definitely includes you. And we're doing this, one compassionate citizen at a time. So here we got on September 7th, 2021, the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops announced the relaunch of Civilize It, a movement centered on loving our neighbor through dialogue. We believe that initiative to be a major catalyst for the Listen First movement that is the basis for a caring culture. We look forward to engaging with leaders of Civilize It soon and integrating our mission. So with the Compassionate Citizens Project, the statement is we invite faith and civic leaders to cultivate compassionate communities across America. A caring culture is the key to empowering a wiser democracy. So with those thoughts, we're going to bring in a great aloha with Marianne Waikiki. We'll do a check-in here. We're happy to have her. Marianne of Waikiki, Marianne Ambrose, is a regular contributor and guest here at the Compassionate Citizens Project. So I want to let Marianne take her time and get set up, but also inviting Marianne that if you are ready to share and give the thought of the day, give us a check-in. The mic is yours if you want it, or if you want more time, that's fine too. So
aloha, Kurt. My future's so bright. I gotta wear shades.
Nice.
I got a new set of shades again, and not as an advertisement, but kind of as an advertisement. The company's called Knockaround, and I was just filing a review. And if you post you're wearing your shades, they will give you a pair of free shades in the future. So I'm setting up my future to be so bright with you today. Aloha, I'm Marianne of Waikiki.
All right. Yeah. Thank you for being here, Marianne. So yeah, I'm just kind of going through a little of the backdrop and making sure that I'm not losing anybody on what we're doing here at the Compassionate Citizens Podcast, sharing about our friend Norland Dimmitt, which you have never met, Marianne. So in the spirit of networking, maybe we got to get you introduced to our friend out of Chicago, Illinois, Norland Dimmitt. So if you're interested in that someday, we can make that happen. But he is the inspiration to this podcast. And so he's working hard to take the Compassionate Citizens Project and grow it in a combined effort to empower beloved communities. And so we're trying to reach out there to community organizers, but every citizen is important to come in here and join this conversation and emerge our collective effort on what it is to build compassionate communities. And it's one person at a time. And that's why we are here as compassionate citizens. And I was describing the Happy Neighborhood Project. So I want to make sure everybody out there knows that the Happy Neighborhood Project can be reached through hnpabc.com. And when we use that short link, it takes you to the same page. It's quick link forwarding to the homepage of happyneighborhoodproject.com. And Marianne and I, and well, Emily, Marianne and I, we all became able to work together because we met Marianne through the Happy Neighborhood Project out of HMP Hawaiian Islands. And I could have fun and say it's been downhill ever since, but no, I won't say that. So no, it's been great stuff. So yeah, we've been helping each other personally and professionally. So I appreciate all the compassion that you have as a part of you, Marianne, and all the compassionate work you're a part of, and the work you've done and do as a sign language interpreter, and your realm of acts of kindness and writing the children's books, and your whole process and connecting the things like you're showing there, the World Water Day, because for sure that is something we have to stay attentive to protect our water supply. So Marianne, do you have any updates, anything that's new trending thing of the week? How's your week going? How's networking? Anything, to note with the Happy Neighborhood Project? What are your thoughts today, Marianne?
I'm just taking a little R&R self-care today. I'm gonna go meditate and relax and go swimming and dive deep into the ocean, the deep blue sea. So I'm gonna go down that way, not downhill skill. I'm going down deep. I'm going down deep in the water to connect my inner soul and re-cleanse and rebirth some of this stuff. I've been doing a lot of editing and re-editing, and so grateful that you introduced me to Darush, and Darush has evaluated, audited, same thing with Trevor Gibbs, my website to be American Disability Act compliance for review for 2022. So grateful for the Fiverr team too. And I have one of my Fiverr designers recovering from dengue fever. So it's okay. When the universe tells us to get back to work, we're going to get back to work, because this is amazing creative work. And, creative artists have to get inspired, and also take time and take a break from other things so that you can regroup and look at things differently, a little bit differently. So where did I miss that dotting that I? How did I miss that spelled out word? How'd they get past me, Kurt? You'd be surprised. And working on projects several years ago, it's like, wow. But look at how we've grown. And thank you so much for allowing me to be here. This has been the greatest opportunity to be on HMP Ability as a sign language interpreter, putting that out there to our deaf and hard of hearing community of 450 million hard of hearing deaf people worldwide, Kurt. And we have millions of moms and dads coming home from being of service who can't hear their own children or grandchildren. So I know the universe is putting us all together so that we can bring these projects in 2022. So, and looking forward to working with Maria and getting a screenplay writer and bringing this into animation movies. So all this little groundwork is just being again reviewed. And thank you, Darush. And thank you, Trevor Gibbs. If anybody has anything that wants to be evaluated, such as, your flyers, the colors, the text size, all that information, again, will be evaluated, and business owners could receive a fine if they're not ADA compliant. So again, back to you, Kurt.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, Marianne. So yeah, with the web content accessibility guidelines, getting down to brass tacks and just doing it's a project of its own. It's work to, get to be compliant if you're not already. And at the same time, I think it's important to frame the rationale of it beyond avoiding the fines, beyond even being compassionate, type of thing, or even beyond just doing the right thing, that there is actual business strategy in making sure that our websites are compliant. I think what is missed in our culture is realizing basics of the circumstance we have between folks that are outside of the disability community and looking at people with disabilities. Because of how culture works, there's a false perception, I think, that is primarily set into the minds of most consumers and most business people. And it is that, people with disabilities are a minority group, but I think it's, miss that people with disabilities represent the largest minority group, and how significant people with disabilities are as the largest minority group, that 1 in 4 people we would identify as being a part of the disability community. It's 25% of the marketplace. And that was my aha moment, is that I figured for 20 years, the global business community trained me and oriented me, for the most part, 99% of the way, to not include people with disabilities. And then in the recent decade, I thought, wow, how ridiculous that notion is, to carry on with business and ignore 25% of the marketplace. It doesn't make any executive sense to me. So people at the Happy Neighborhood Project, experience me coming into a business acumen saying, you know what? If a business is not going the direction of being accommodating, accessible, and including people with disabilities, you know what? I don't care who you are or how it looks on Wall Street or whatever's all going on. It's not worth the weight in salt, because to me, if I'm being presented a business strategy of, let's just, go after our profits with 75% of population, I'm like, why would we do that when we can funnel it from 100% of people? And I've had people at HMP and other places tell me that, yeah, it's a weird nuance, because it's almost like money from people with disabilities isn't any good, that businesses don't want it. Why not be consumer friendly for our consumers with disabilities, have good business strategy, and then also get back to, whether you like the business strategy or not, let's do it anyway, because it's just the right thing to do. And I want to build it up as ethics. So I value you and I treasure you, Marianne, that I think you're in this roster we have permeating the Happy Neighborhood Project, that we expect these ethics, that people conform and comply with web content accessibility guidelines, and everything that we professionals can do to make our products, services, and our companies friendly for people with disabilities. So we have Mark Morrison here, is just coming in with his ego, his alter ego, and his id, and I don't know what else is going to come in here, but we've got on our screen Mark Morrison. He's switching. That's what it is. Welcome, Mark Morrison. Take your time, but if you are ready, Mark, I welcome you to say hello. If you're ready to unmute your microphone. Welcome, Mark. You're here with Mariana Waikiki, Emily Gallmer, and myself. How are you doing?
I'm good, and you guys?
We're doing good
My
here.
connection isn't okay. This has been the hardest day for internet here. So I wanted to see if I can connect to you. I can connect to just about anyone.
Yeah, we're all good. It's a portrayal of the extent we take here at the Compassionate Citizens Project. If we're all about listening and being patient, even if somebody's got a poor internet connection, we can still make it work. Right, Mark? So welcome to the show. Any thoughts to share? What's news for this last week of October? How are things looking for you heading up towards Halloween here?
No, I just came on to relax. If I have any thoughts at all, let me see. It's all about learning new skills to put the business into action and just to keep learning. So that's
all right. Thank you, Mark. So So, Marianne, what further thoughts do you bring to us today? What are you looking forward to this week ahead? And in this week ahead, we have Halloween. By the time we meet again next week for Compassionate Citizens, Halloween will have taken place. So, you want to talk about your Halloween customs, what it is for you on a day?
Funny. Well, I'm not Scary Ann this year. So anyway, uh, actually, tomorrow I'm excited. Wednesdays is usually shopping with Senior Citizen Jim, and I go to the other side of the island and do that. But we have a doctor's appointment with him in the morning, and then we are going to go to the spaghetti factory for a lunch and then hit Home Depot. I got to return some plugs for my studio here. I was having some challenges, and then going up to his house for the week as I normally do. We go swimming Pokai Bay, so you've seen me on many live streams, being actually physically at the beach or swimming around the sailboat. So I'm looking forward to doing that. It's not R&R, but it's relaxing and it's fun and it's a stay away, get away. But I'm bringing the laptop and I'm real excited to talk with Cassidy Thursday morning in regards to my Medicare reimbursement that I haven't received for my upper cervical. So that's another H&P event for me, and to just we're just reviewing. Bringing up paperwork to review for next year Medicare enrollment for the both of us. And I'm going to be filing applications for senior living next year at 55. So his neighbor was a resident manager back in Florida. So she's been kind of giving me the push and an incentive, which I'm ready. And I talked to the resident manager and I know her from the marina. So just getting all that preparation done for 2022, just getting in review, I guess. So, but gonna have good fun and don't really have a costume. Probably just gonna put a table of candy again. The zip code that I'm going to had the highest COVID. So I'm not going to be interacting with the children as we usually did. And last year, the same thing too. We put a table out and that's what we did. Now, I don't know what the other neighbors are doing, if they're feeling a little more comfortable, but yes, there's decorations. We have Scully out in the front yard. In the backyard is a dinosaur that he bought from Home Depot several years ago. It's like a 9-foot high dinosaur that roars. And anyway, just hopefully we're going to have a safe and no fireworks. You know, we've had people that had injuries 4th of July due to fireworks, and the lady lost her house and lost her life in with fireworks. So I just hope everybody's safe out on this holiday. And that's pretty much it. Just getting organized.
All right. Well, best wishes. Good luck on all of your organization, getting organized. And I know that's always a good, rewarding feeling when you have things better put together for your future work. So, Mark, you want to describe a little bit of the week ahead for you? Do you have anything that goes on in terms of Halloween? Any trick or treat customs around you, or what does that look like for the holiday? Are you catching any of this, Mark?
I know he has internet problems.
Yeah, he's having internet problems.
Yeah. Well, what I'm doing is not a trick or treat bag, but Kurt, we're so grateful.
Mark, were you saying something?
No, I didn't know who you were asking about Halloween, but if you're asking Marianne, let her go. Yeah.
All right. Did you have more, Marianne? It seemed like
Oh, well, no, I was just going to share with you too, is we're grateful that we get food from the food bank. So I'm making that a trick or treat bag, but I'm making a treat bag for a homeless man that lives on the beach that sets up, it's really, really nice and designed. He's got stones and rocks and Hawaiian flags up there. So when we go swim, I always bring him provisions. So that's what I'm also doing too as a compassionate citizen. So it's a treat bag.
Awesome.
Drop
Awesome.
off a food bank treat bag.
Good stuff. Thanks for doing that. That's a good gesture that you provide out there. So Mark, again, Mark, what do you have all going on, Mark, for out at Halloween around by you? Any trick-or-treaters, any interesting things going on in your area?
In my area and in my community, nobody really observes Halloween. It's not a day that we observe. I haven't done Halloween since I was, I don't know, a younger person. And that was when candy was safe and you didn't need it to be inspected. And or gone over with one of those wands. So you would see it was a holiday change. It's not a holiday, it was a day changed because you didn't want to make it appear like there was an All Hallows Eve, which is basically evil. And when all the world's spooks and goblins and witches and warlocks would come out and plague humanity and cause evil to happen on the earth, because that's what it was in the beginning. And then once it came around the world, it was changed to fun and costumes and kids knocking on your doors and saying trick or treat, and you had to give them candy. So I don't, it's not for us. However, people would want to do it. We would give out the candy and wish them well and tell them to keep safe. And it does have something to do with COVID, whether or not anybody trick or treats around here. So we'll see. I don't know.
All right, sounds good. So thanks, Mark. I appreciate you sharing. It's good insight, yeah, because it's good to point out that even though most of us, enjoy this culture and customs, that for sure there's great population out there that does not participate. So to each their own, and so it'll be a varied experience for everybody in the week ahead. But Mark, you alluded to tying in the presence of evil and stuff like that, and I think there's something to be said about that here at the Compassionate Citizens podcast, we really haven't gone there. We haven't gone there in terms of the idea of evil and sins and crime and plight and trespassing on each other and getting angry, road rage, all these kinds of things that just really get us on the opposite side of compassion and tests our capacity to remain compassionate regardless of the situation we're in or who we might be engaging with. We might be engaging with a criminal or a convict or someone who has served time in jail or prison, and might be somebody who maybe got away with something, maybe somebody who did hit and run and never got caught. There's all sorts of activity out there that can be a challenge, but everybody's got their own circumstances when people are doing these things. Who knows what motivates it, but Marianne, how is that present in your life, that all around us, we try to hang around with good people, like at the Happy Neighborhood Project, and we try to, I don't know if we try or if it just works out that way in terms of staying away from crime and evil and just evildoers or people doing bad deeds, or and you're all about, this is anti-bullying month. and stuff like that. So you want to speak to that a little bit, Marianne, how we kind of do our part to be available in those situations when, unfavorable acts are perpetrated or conducted, like bullying and stuff like that. You want to speak to that a little bit and how you got passionate to work on something like anti-bullying month?
Well, sure. Well, bullying's been happening, worldwide, so happening more in the schools. I don't work in the school system, but I know people that I've worked with have been bullied at all ages, seriously. And I know in the deaf community, there was in St. Augustine, Florida, the School for the Deaf, they have made YouTube videos of persons with disabilities, especially the deaf, being bullied, made fun of for their hearing loss, speaking, not speaking right, using the world terms of deaf and dumb, and just having, again, these classes or events to talk about anti-bullying and the definition of bullying, and just like the ADA too. So let me find this here. We can highlight it too, because I brought it up, is that there's a spectrum. Shoot, where do I have it? Let me find it. But there's a spectrum of bullying. Let's see if I can find it. But what got me kind of passionate too was I, as a sign language interpreter, have been bullied. My deaf friend has been bullied here on the island. He and his service dog, it's just, there's just all different types. And again, it's a lot of adults too that are displaying this towards members, persons with disabilities, or children in sports activities. It just happens. I'm not one to be on social media all the time, but you see it all there, and it's just, a conscious choice to walk away, smile, be kind, and let it go, and forgive that person. And that's what we have in our book, Rabbit Acts of Kindness, No Bully, is about Harry the hard of hearing rabbit, who gets bullied by a female French bulldog and a frog named Rippet. Okay, so again, bullies can be male or female. And he has to learn to stand in his power, Kurt, and with an enchanted tree. And back to that notion, we have a song called Waves of Emotion, because he goes through waves of emotion. And then he is introduced to Chelsea the Courageous Sign Language Chicken on Rabbit Island. And then they decide that they want to get off and they have to learn how to sail. So they create a sailboat and sail back to Magic Island. And you have to believe we are magic. And I don't know if you remember, Kurt, I referred to the song of my deaf friend Scott, who recently just graduated with classes for veterinary school. His favorite song is You Have to Believe We Are Magic. And there really is a magic island over here by the Hawaii Yacht Club and the Waikiki Yacht Club. And a lot of people go there to swim and picnic. And anyway, well, in the book, it leads us to that they have a homecoming parade, just like sailors coming into port. And they have a homecoming parade, and he's again approached with the bullies, and we find out really that the bullies don't know sign language, and that's why they felt left out, and they wanted to learn sign language, and everybody wants to be of service at the end. So we are offering solutions again for everybody, and sign language is a solution for social spatial distancing for schools. So that's the story of Rabbit Acts of Kindness, No Bully. It's being launched onto Amazon. It was soundtracked by Lucy Lynch in the Perfect Way. And again, we'll be finding funding to bring this book into animation movies with hopefully Maria Zaney and United Nations or UNICEF. Somehow along the wrong next year, we're going to be bringing and creating these into animation movies. So behind me, if you can see here, is a spectrum of bullying. And bullying can start from anything such as little abrasive things to body language, to looks, to teasing, put downs, labeling. What do we got there? Rumors, icing, taunting, And then we go down to the mental, emotional abuse, to damaging property, to physical abuse, to violence. All those different spectrums are a spectrum of bullying considered according to this graph. So yeah, you'd be surprised. Really, people can intentionally really want to bully somebody or lower someone else's self-esteem, feel like they have superiority over them or a control factor. And again, it starts in schools now, and to parents are bullying other people's children, to sports, etc., and all that stuff. So if we start showing compassion and kindness like you are doing, and then we are the leaders and show that we can be of service, then people will want to follow us and be like us. Just like the bullfrog and the female French bulldog, they really wanted to be of service. They just didn't know sign language and felt left out. Part of like of a culture too. So, and it is kind of challenging too. I don't know other really foreign languages. I can pick up words in here in Spanish. I don't know Chinese or Japanese. So, I could be at an event and I feel like they're talking about me and I don't know what they're saying because I don't know the other language. So, it's all just a part for all of us to learn. And I'm just really excited that we are able to express this book again with Hope Manus Puppets and soundtrack by Lucy Lynch in The Perfect Wave. It's a beautiful story, and you learn basic sign language signs in there again. And it's about a leading lady named Chelsea, the courageous sign language chicken, for Harry, the hard of hearing rabbit, and Eve, the finger spelling bumblebee. And we have the app games to go along with that too. So, so we have 3 of them created so far, and I'm going to need the funding to continue to do that. And I'm really excited to meet with other people in HNP, and especially you've opened up nonprofit. So I know that people are going to want to help me out in the future to make this project happen again. And we are going to be applying for the Dorsey Foundation too with Leanne McLaughlin and Clean Fun Water Foundation for next year. So I got ongoing projects, Kurt, but it's all going to be great fun.
Great stuff. You're right. It is fun stuff. Great book, great games, and great messages. And you're always working on great stuff, Marianne. Thanks for everything that you do ongoing all day long, every day. And so, Mark, I want to check in with you. Want to see if anything that Marianne went into, Mark, on with bullying and intimidation and adults in conflict, and whether adults intimidate children. What's your life experience in that, Mark, and how do you deal with people who are prone to get mad and vent that out on other people, and it basically exhibit bullying?
There was excuse me, there was a bully when I was a child. He was the same age as most of us, and yet he was not so much bigger, but much, and until finally, as I was saying, until finally one of the people, one of the kids I was hanging out with decided he had had enough, and he took him. There was no winner per se, physically, okay, but the bully lost because somebody fought him back. And that is really, I think, what we all have to do as adults, as compassionate adults for each other, for ourselves. We have to take care of ourselves with regard to life. And of course, the bully that may come at us is life. And there'll be your positives and negatives. And in order to be compassionate with others, and we did everyone in this room, in this venue, is that some of us are more than others. For you and your staff, including Marianne, including Anna Maria, and those from H&P Ability, that have firsthand experience. Okay, and you taking on the and you take. I think that's also part of what we have to do, as long as we know that we ourselves are valuable, and then those feelings for ourselves, we would be better for your kind of activity, your compassionate citizen, and your ADA compliance. Because when I was counseling, yeah, we were compassionate, but we also knew how special the ADA was, and how it could be utilized for the students. And they got a lot of attention, and how it can be utilized for the overall programs that they needed to succeed. And I think if it's starting up again, I think there was a reason that Kurt Roskopf was born. So we can take up the charge for this. And Marianne, of course, too, and anybody else involved in this. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I think everybody's happy that Kurt Roskopf is around.
Yes, mahalo, mahalo, Mark. Yes.
Put
Put your cape on, Kurt. Put your cape
though.
on. Put your cape on, Kurt. You are the superhero.
If we didn't have Kurt, that would not be a good thing. All hell freak loose.
There we go.
There we go.
Time to respond. Here we go. I'm flying in.
There we go. AR.
There it is. So speaking of, this imbibing and celebrating me, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'm honored. And it is a great segue to a calendar note that is for the last day of November. On November 30th, this year, 2021, I am turning 50 years old. And so I'm looking for help by everybody to help me cope with this milestone and learning all the tricks. How do people turn 50 and stay happy? I might have to write our chief happiness officer to lean on Edwin a little bit to say, this 50-year milestone's coming upon me. What are all the tricks? What happiness as a skill? How do you use those skills to enter into your 50th birthday? But
what are the tips, tricks, and techniques for turning 50?
I have something to share. I have something to share with you, Kurt, is because I live in Hawaii, and Hawaii 5-0 is the television show. Okay. And I got an extra on Hawaii 5-0. So everybody goes, we're celebrating our Hawaii 5-0 birthday.
Yeah.
And when I was interpreting sign language, we had Reverend Bomar at the church, and I was back interpreting, and the topic of his was rising above sea level. And I'm signing, and I look over Suzanne Sims, my writer, and I go, that's the name of the chapter of the book. So not only did on my 50th birthday, it was a Saturday, we went on a catamaran cruise with my deaf friend, and I had a cake made rising above sea level. So I was not over the hill. Again, it's a new thought, how you want to take it and embrace it. So it was waves of emotions. So I had a rising above sea level party theme.
Wow. Some people will think, Kurt, if I can, first of all, if you're going to be 50, that is the biggest surprise I've ever had this month. You don't look nor act like you're going to be 50. In other words, that's a compliment. That you still look and act younger. And needless to say, you have the best staff person that any supervisor ever had. So Emily can help keep you young by not loading the stress on you. Okay, and you have a wife and a daughter, if I am correct. I know you have a wife.
Yeah, and a daughter, our daughter Alana, absolutely.
There you go. Okay.
Kurt
All
is
right,
the
I
kid
don't
at
know
heart.
you that well, so I'm saying I know you have a wife, I know you have a daughter, but okay. Um, I think, okay, I think it's keeping you young. I think it does a good job to keep you young. And if you have the energy to lead the charge and you can resist being institutionalized, you will probably live to be 100.
Yeah, Kurt's a kid at heart. And we'll always be a kid at
Halfway there.
And
living
there'll
on
always
a
be a kid at
prayer.
heart.
You're halfway there, living on a prayer.
Yeah, we'll do my 50th birthday and we'll send out the invites for my 100th. You know, everybody's welcome to my 100th
Yeah.
There you
birthday
go.
party as well.
Well, we got senior citizen Jim coming up to 80
Well,
years
you
old.
see, you know what you should do? You should, when you have your party on November 30th, send it out to your Facebook crowd and let us see how you celebrate.
Well, I know that Emily is working on some surprises and stuff, some stuff that I'm not privileged to actually. So I don't know what's all going on there, but basically I promote, you know, all the networking that's available. So the H&P India North and the H&P Talent Connections, and then we got VetNet out of Colorado Springs, Colorado, and then we have about an hour there before the shakedown. We're going to have a little reception and gathering for an hour before the 12 o'clock shakedown Central Time. So that's 10 o'clock out by you, Mark, and the 12 o'clock shakedown is always 7 a.m. for Mariana Waikiki out there, Hawaiian time.
What
And
day is that?
that's Tuesday, November 30th. So I have a goal of having 50 people plugging in throughout the day to my celebratory birthday activities. So be a part of my tribe of 50.
So you're wearing the Superman cape. So if you can fly over all of us and show us how you're going to do it, then great. If not, just stream it out there via Facebook and give us enough time, because Marianne would just be waking up. It would be 8 a.m. in Hawaii. It's going to be 10 a.m. here. Yeah, stream it out.
Yeah, we will do that. It'll be a Transforming Media Network production, World of Ability Podcast Network, the Compassionate Citizens Podcast. We'll be right in there with a happy birthday themed show that day. And so yeah, we're going to make a big deal out of it. You know, people are going to wonder who this guy Kurt Roskoff is, you know.
And why don't you do what you do on Sunday morning, what you stream on a Sunday morning, do it for everybody.
Yes. So with Sunday morning,
or whatever day it is.
Well, it's Tuesday, November 30th.
Okay, so it's a Tuesday. Yeah.
So yeah, we'll have you know, at the time that we're doing this podcast, we have H&P Australia is going on right now as we speak. They're finishing up their networking meeting and so forth. So yeah, there's going to be plenty to choose from. It's going to be a smorgasbord of possibilities, you know, no shortage of a chance to come on to Zoom and pick on Kurt. You know, we'll do a Kurt Roskoff roasting. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Marianne's excited. Oh no. They always say, watch what you ask for, you know.
Oh yeah, roast.
We all have a month to prepare. This could be good.
Kurt Roskoff. Kurt Roskoff.
Yeah.
There we go, Emily.
The Roskoff roast off. There we go.
Yeah, the roast off. Kurt Roskoff. Roskoff's roast off. I'm gonna have a flyer made.
There we go. Let's do it up. Get the graphic going. Let's make it a thing. So
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Uh,
Oh, you got my mind
Do
started
you-
now. I was a little
Oh,
delayed
no.
today over
Now
the
that we
week.
got Marion, now that we got Marion's mind going, oh boy, I can just imagine all the ideas I will have.
Oh,
So watch out, Kurt,
Emily,
for ideas.
Emily, don't give, oh.
roasted nuts.
I'm not gonna touch that comment, it's okay.
I'm thinking barbecue, chestnut roast. We're having a roast party. I'm thinking meat barbecue. We gotta do something on that day.
Yeah. Yes, I understood how you meant it. Sometimes us males are gonna go in the opposite
Yes.
direction. Emily, can we roast him on a over an open fire or what?
I think we're gonna have to go on
She's
everybody.
not gonna answer that question.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear. What was it? Who? Emily?
It was me,
Yeah.
something about me and roasting Kurt.
I
don't know
was
if I totally
talking about
heard the whole
roasting Kurt
question.
over an open fire. You know what some of the near Asia populations do. They stick a barbecue stick in the front and the back of animals, and they roast them over the fire
Uh-huh.
slowly. And
Uh-huh.
instead of doing real cooking and being violent, we just roast Kurt over an open fire with jokes and
Yep,
everything else.
yep. That sounds like an
Emily's
idea.
saying, yeah.
We'll have to get that
But
video
light a
going.
fire. Yes. Emily, light a video fire and just, whatever. We use our imaginations.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll use depth perception. We'll have a fire kind of in the camera's view, and then I'll be a little bit away from the fire, but we'll put it in the right position with the camera that it looks like you're roasting
Looks
me.
like-
We'll get somebody to crank the spit,
Yes.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say like a pig luau, Kurt, over here, Hawaii Five-0, man.
Right.
Yeah.
I have to tell everybody Kurt's getting out his grass skirt.
Oh, that'll be a sight.
Yeah, and I'm gonna throw a coconut cream pie at the screen. Emily,
Yeah.
throw a coconut cream pie at the screen.
Oh boy.
Go. I got my coconuts out.
Maybe
So-
you should have your teeth out too there on the way. Have some fake teeth on the way.
Oh, I have fake teeth. Sure.
Okay.
There we go. I'll work on that for you, Mark.
Okay.
So, well, all right, we are into the concluding minutes here with our Compassionate Citizens
Oh,
podcast
okay.
show, and so if anybody has to hop off, feel free if you got something to jump over to. Otherwise, Emily, you want to get us into our conclusion, please? Is Emily back there?
Emily.
I'm here. Um,
She's working on your surprise, so it took her a little while to get back.
yeah, but thank you everybody for thank you to Marion and Mark for coming on today's podcast, and for everybody who tuned in. And to please join us again next Tuesday, same time, same place. And over to you, Kurt.
All right. Well, we're gonna do our little minute to win it. So, Mark, we'll bounce back to you. I want to give you one more minute to give any final thoughts, reflections on today's show, and what you're looking forward to in the week ahead.
Well, with the week ahead and one day behind, this was a savior for me today. Thank you for letting me come on with Of course, we knew what was going on because she had to re-give me the information really well, and I can get on with some good things.
Very good. Very good. So I want to weigh in and give extra thanks to you, Mark. We're always appreciating your regular attendance here on our shows, and you're welcome back all the time. Let's keep this.
I'm glad we made your day, Mark.
Yeah.
Thank you, Emily.
You
if it's done,
betcha.
it's done. I know.
Yep. So, Marianne, I want to give you another minute. Any final thoughts, reflections on today's show, things you're looking forward to in the week ahead? Anything you want to add?
No, Mahalo. Again, I can't thank you enough for the opportunity to highlight the Acts of Kindness series, the app games, being supportive of persons with disabilities, and making this happen. And just looking forward to some creativity that's going to be happening. So again, thank you, Darush, for ADA reviews. Trevor Gibbs joined us H&P Ability Thursdays with our captain, Denise Vargas, Ambassador Kurt Roskoff, and Emily. And aloha, I'm Marianne of Waikiki.
Aloha. What a great touch for our Compassionate Citizens podcast, our show here. And thank you all out there for continuing to watch and listen to this, the Compassionate Citizens podcast. Again, I am yours truly, Kurt Roskoff. Pleased to be co-hosting this with Emily and co-producing it with our regular guest contributors, Marianne and Mark. And with that, I can invite you to feel free to call or text me 262-372-1SKI. That's 262-372-1754. Feel free to send me your calls and your texts, and also emails. Kurt, K-U-R-T, at thedisabilitychannel.us. And check out the great work of Transform You Media podcasts that you can find through transformyoumediapodcast.com. And this is Transform You Media Network. We are all about broadcasting and creating these shows. Thank you, Transform You Media Network, as a mass media company, powering this show and making it possible. You can find out more information on the broadcasting through transformyoubroadcast.com. So that again is transformyoubroadcast.com. So we also appreciate everything you're doing on our social media with our YouTube, subscribing and commenting and liking, and same thing on Facebook. And so join that Compassionate Citizen group on Facebook.